and welcome to the Project Bag podcast. My name's Gemma and I am bringing to you this week episode 19. It's quite a bumper episode, lots of making, creating and a healthy dash of nonsense. Shall we get on with it then? On the show for you this week, I have, believe it or not, a faux and a hoe. I also take time to share my thoughts on Knit Now's free knitting kit from this month. In Whips, I discuss the real struggle of seconditemitis. That's definitely a thing. Being on a yarn diet does not mean that there are no acquisitions, and I have one or two to share with you this week. Then, in response to last week's new feature, Level Up, we take a look at some of the skills that you lovely viewers want to work on yourselves. And it's a new year, so therefore a new KAL. I kickstart the first KAL of 2019. And finally, I give you an exclusive peek at some new colourways and reveal some very exciting news for the project bag. So I hope you'll stick around to the end. Wow, well, here we are, second episode of 2019 already, if you can believe it. I hope that 2019 so far is off to an acceptable start for you and treating you well. What's the weather like where you are? I need to discuss this. I'm freezing. I have got the thermostat up to full blast, I am wearing layers, I have got knitwear, I'm drinking a hot drink, and I am still utterly freezing. I just can't get warm today. Anyway, very British moan over. Hopefully, whatever the weather where you are able to do some crafting and have something with you to join in with, and perhaps a nice hot beverage yourselves while we settle down for another crafty chat. For those of you who are new to the podcast, thank you so much for dropping in, trying it out. Possibly a bit of a bumper one this week. We actually have some faux for you. That's not normal for this podcast, so don't get too used to it, okay? But it's great to have you here. If you enjoy the episode today, it would mean so much to me if you could hit that like button underneath where it's on the thingamajig thing, you know, down below. If you could hit that like button, possibly consider hitting subscribe if you would like, and maybe putting the bell icon on as well, and that will let you know when I upload new videos. And to returning viewers, welcome back. It is so lovely to be curling up for another cup of tea and a chat with you this week. If you haven't subscribed and you are returning and this isn't your first show, maybe perhaps consider pressing that button, and do give me the thumbs up if you enjoy what you see today as well. Okay, so today's beverage is a decaf chai latte in one of my favourite mugs. It is the Project Bag mug. This mug has my logo, and for those of you that don't know, I am the maker, dyer, tutor, pattern designer behind, and obviously podcaster, behind the Project Bag. So full disclosure right up front, that's who I am. It's not the premise of this podcast at all. This is just my chance to kick back and chat with you guys, and I so enjoy it. I really do. So yeah, hopefully you've got something lovely as well. And now that's all cleared up, why don't we get on to the very exciting business of showing you a faux. Isn't he cute? I have a faux. This is my finished object. Peeking around so I can see if it's focusing, and of course that stops it focusing, doesn't it? So it's just like, stop looking, Gemma, trust your camera. Anyway, there we are. There is our faux. This dapper little chap was part of a kit from Knit Now magazine. I saw it advertised on their Instagram feed. I follow Knit Now, and as soon as I saw him, well, to be fair, it was a her, more on that later, I knew that I absolutely had to get this magazine and knit this little fellow for my friend, who you probably know, I've mentioned it a few times, was very heavily pregnant and expecting on Christmas Day. Her little one, a little lad, turned up on the 4th of January, so a week old today, and he is absolutely scrummy. I have had squishes. I went for squishes yesterday, and it was really lovely. I actually knit his older brother, who is 3, a penguin when he was born, his grandmother asked me to knit a penguin. I think the premise was because the reasoning behind it was because little ones can only see in black and white to start with when they're first born. I didn't know that. That was completely new to me. So yeah, I knit him a black and white penguin, and this one isn't black and white, but I just had to knit a penguin for his brother or sister. We didn't know what it was going to be at the time. It was a total surprise. Well, not a total surprise, because obviously you're going to have a baby, aren't you? What are you having? A baby. So here he is. He took me about 5 hours work in all, and there's a bit of a story behind this. So this is the kit that Percy, who I've just named him Percy, it probably won't be the name he gets. I think his older brother one's called Quentin or something like that, Quentin the penguin, which is fairly, you know, fairly alliterative in a way. Quentin the penguin. It might not be Quentin at all. I might be making things up, so oh well. Just me lying to you again. This is the kit that I saw. It's gone very shiny. Oh, that's better. So this is the kit that I saw advertised on Knit Nell's Instagram. Came free with their magazine, and I just knew I had to have it. And the other night I was looking at this magazine. This was Wednesday night, and I knew I was going to meet baby Arthur the next morning, and I happened to see that it says on here, easy pattern to knit tonight, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I can. Challenge accepted. So if you've seen my Instagram stories and been following me for the last couple of days, you are probably sick to the back teeth of the sight of this penguin and my progress on it. But I thought it'd be a really fun experiment to see if it really is possible to knit one of these kits where it says knit tonight. Tonight. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't explicitly say you will be able to knit it in an evening. It says knit tonight, which could mean start tonight. I mean, you do 4 stitches, that's still knitting. But I just thought it would be a fun challenge. I wasn't out to prove Knit Now wrong. It was purely for fun. And you guys know, if you have followed the podcast since the beginning or even for a few weeks, I have a bit of a commitment issue when it comes to whips. I'm very much an all squirrel sort of person. Merrily knitting away on one thing, see something shiny, and off I go. So I thought it would be really, really good fun just to have that challenge. It's on my Instagram stories. You can see all the updates and see how it goes. And it's caught the attention of Knit Now, because I did tag them in it, to be fair, and say, look, I'm doing this kit from Knit Now. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So the kit came with, as you can see, it's a penguin with a scarf and a little headband with a bow. Penny the penguin. Now, obviously, when Arthur was born, I just thought I would do a bow tie. And the reason I thought this wasn't because I believe in genderising toys at all. Please don't think that for a moment. In fact, I'm kind of against the idea that because you have a boy, you give him a truck, and because you have a girl, you give her a doll. I mean, what's wrong with letting boys play with dolls? It might mean they grow up to be fantastic fathers. Who knows? You know, just gonna throw that out there and duck behind the parapet again before I get an onslaught. I'm not getting into politics here. It's just my personal opinion. But I couldn't resist the idea of doing a penguin with a bow tie, which, to be fair, is actually what the designer suggested. Instead of a headband, you could give your penguin a bow tie, and she gave the instructions for that as well. And yeah, I'm an absolute sucker for a bow tie. Just going to show them to you again. So let me talk to you about the yarns, because as you will notice, the kit came with a knock myself out, a pale blue and a peachy pink for the headband and the scarf, and I have used a kind of more turquoisey greeny blue, and obviously a green for the bow tie. So when I took the yarn out of the kit, I just thought to myself, do you know what? I have got a mini by Truly Hooked, Verity of Truly Hooked. She did minis for the weekend box. I think I showed it to you. You might remember if you've been watching since way back when in September. I had a rainbow of mini skeins to knit bunting with, and there was a whole debate of whether I'd knit rainbow socks instead, and in the end I did nothing. Absolutely nothing. No surprise there. But when I pulled out this yarn, I realised that it was almost exactly the same shade as this skein from Truly Hooked, this mini skein, and I thought, you know what, I want to use that. I really do want to try and shop from Stash a bit more this year. You know about my yarn diet story, more on that later. And so I skeined it up, or balled it up, sorry, from the skein, and I have used this gorgeous colour, and if I turn it, you might not be able to, I don't think it's picking up the subtle almost greeny hue in there, but it is really, really pretty. And as always with indie dyed yarn, it's not completely solid, so you've got this almost dappled effect where some bits are a little bit paler, and I just think that's part of the charm. For the bow tie, again, I used a Truly Hooked mini skein. This is part of another skein that came in that same rainbow, and I'm really, really pleased. I used the white from the kit, that's 4-ply, and I used the yellow from the kit as well for the beak and the feet, or flippers, or what are they? What are they on a penguin? Are they feet? I don't know. And what are seagulls' feet called? Okay, because you have birds' feet and they have like claws and talons or whatever, but seagulls have webbed feet. So are they feet or are they flippers? And I suppose to that end, swans, ducks. Okay, I need to stop because we're going to end up completely off the wall here with a random tangent. If you are new to the podcast, you just have to hold on tight and brace yourself for the ride, okay? So feet, flippers, whatever you want to call them, I used the yarn from the kit for that, and the same for his tummy and his face. The French knot eyes that I've given him are actually little bits of my peacock colourway. I was rescanning a skein to send to my friend Ellen for test knitting, which again I'll come to later. And the ties, it occurred to me that, hang on, I'm attached to my jumper. It occurred to me that the ties that are in the same yarn effectively were just going to be thrown in the bin and go to waste, but they were the perfect length to create these two little French knots, and I think they're less severe than black, but still darker to actually look like eyes, so I'm quite pleased. So there's my little penguin. What do I think of the kit? Really fun. It was designed by Amanda Berry for Knit Now, and it really was quite quick. All in all, if you take out my procrastinating and the times I checked Instagram and all the other things, it actually took about 5 hours in total. You also have to take into account the fact that I went to sleep on Wednesday night because I was just too tired and didn't finish. I actually only started this at 9:20. And was that even casting on, or was that balling up the skein? I'm not entirely sure. It was pretty bad. So yeah, all in all, five hours. I really enjoyed it. It was so simple to knit. To look at it with this little V, you could be forgiven for thinking that actually that's quite complicated, but it's really not. Essentially what you're knitting is two balls, one slightly larger than the other. And this is achieved, I don't think you can even tell, by duplicate stitching. Now, duplicate stitching is a really simple way of including colour without doing full-on intarsia or putting a little bit of a design, maybe some initials, or personalising a piece. And what you do is you take your yarn that you want to lay over, and with your yarn needle, your darning needle, you literally go over the stitches. There are lots of great tutorials on YouTube about how to do this, so I haven't got any footage to explain to you exactly how I did it, but I will try and find a couple of tutorials and link them just down below. So that is my foe, Percy the penguin. Absolutely love it, had great fun. We'll definitely, whoop, chucked him on the floor, I love him that much, excuse me. I had great fun with the kit. I have so many free kits that I just haven't used from Knit Now. I think mostly from Knit Now actually, a few from Simply Knitting, a couple from Crochet, I'm not sure, but they're all in a tote bag upstairs and I haven't used them, but I've had such fun with this little guy. I think I'm definitely going to be using them before. I have done, I'm pretty sure it's knit now as well. I could be lying. I will have to fact check this and put it down here. I'm pretty sure I did a dinosaur for my one of my god babies from a Knit Now kit as well. Again, I substituted the yarn out, but I used the pattern and found it absolutely brilliant. So yeah, thumbs up from me. Talking about linking videos down below, all the information where you can find me, if you would so choose, is just down below as well. And to that end, I have a non-knitting related FO for you. What is this? The week of 2 FOs? Gemma, what's happened to you? I hear you ask. No idea. Hands up, no idea. Well, here it is. This is a jar of my red onion chutney. It's quite a nice sort of ruby colour. You can see the bits of onion in there. Really, really simple to make. It's just 3 ingredients. And if you are interested, the recipe along with photos and videos will be available on my blog this coming Sunday. So there we are, really quick red onion chutney. Not long to be ready to eat either, 4 weeks. And Bob's your uncle and we know who your aunt is. Right, so before we get into whips, I actually have a hoe for you as well this week. Here we are. My old school sock is finished. The pattern is written up and it is with testers. But can we just take a moment before I talk about it to appreciate the fact that I have a faux and a hoe. So my old school sock is knit for the 6th millionth time. I cast these on in November, so you've heard about them a lot. Is knit out of Amy of Stranded Dyeworks Vintage Christmas colourway, which was her Christmas 2017 colourway. Minty with these gorgeous speckles. It features a 1x1 twisted rib at the top, a simple repeating lace pattern, traditional heel flap and gusset construction, and a rounded toe with a Kitchener stitch binding. This pattern is with test knitters now. I'm really excited by it. I've got some wonderful people testing. You may see them on Instagram. If you follow the Project Bag, if you follow the hashtags the Project Bag Designs and Old School Sock Pattern, you will see them up there. There are some fantastic colours. I have sent my yarn to my testers, so they're working my pattern up in my yarn, and it's just so exciting to see it happening and see my yarn growing up to be socks, which is just amazing. Yeah, and I'm very much hoping that they will be ready to release by the end of February. I have given my wonderful test knitters a month to do, and to be fair, they are totally into it and really excited by it. So there we are, the old school socks, so called because of the old school socks that I used to wear when I was in primary school. Everyone had them. They were white, they were lacy. You got them from Marks and Sparks. You get the idea. So look out for that pattern on my Ravelry design page very, very soon. All right, so we are now on to whips, and the first thing that has seen quite a lot of the first thing that has seen quite a lot of love this week is my Calypso cardigan. I would have got the second front completely finished were it not for my mad challenge to knit Percy the Penguin. And as you can see, the front is pretty much done. I was down here, I think, last week, and I've got all the way there. I've got about 10 rows to go before I shape the shoulder, and then that's cast off and I get to do the sleeves, which should, in theory, I hope, I haven't looked at the pattern yet, it's a bit of a Schrodinger's cat issue here at the moment, scenario going on, should involve some shaping and some interesting things, but we are on track for getting this garment finished. I'm no longer going to say when by, because I'm sure I said, oh, it'll be ready by the autumn, oh, it'll be ready by Christmas, and it's been neither. It will get done. I totally love the person that I'm making it for. She's very, very knit worthy, such a good soul, and she will have it. She will have it. The next whip I have is, get ready for it, hold on to your seats, you're not dreaming. Yes, folks, That is the second sock. What? Who am I? I don't know. So I have been prompted by a little bit of a discussion last time about me having a second everything issue, casting anything that's a second on, second sock, second sleeve, second mitten. I have been prompted to actually try and get some of my seconds finished. That makes it sound like they're no good, like sloppy seconds. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying cast on the second parts of things and get them done. It's part of my I'm gonna damn well get 9 things finished challenge that I set myself. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, pop back to last week's episode and have a look at my 2019 goals section. It's about 2/3 of the way through the podcast. So I've actually cast it on. I've done the ribbing. I have got no further because penguin. But the important thing is it's cast on. It's here. You've witnessed it. It's happening. So let me talk for a little bit about what I am affectionately calling seconditemitis. Say that 3 times fast. Seconditemitis. I can't say it twice fast. Seconditemitis, seconditemitis, seconditemitis. I got excited then because I thought I'd done it. Right, one more time. Seconditemitis, seconditemitis, seconditemitis. Ta-da! Thank you very much. It was brought about because I was talking about my lack of ability, apparently, my total reluctance to cast the second bits of anything on. Just as well I wasn't knitting trousers, I'd end up with one leg. And it brought about because I was sharing my hoe last time. I had a hoe last time as well, which was my Selbu mitten. Just whip it out again for you to see because I'm so proud of it. I want to show it off again, and it's my podcast, so I could totally indulge myself. Here we are. And someone on the YouTube comments, I think I'm right in saying it was Mary, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm just terrible person when it comes to pronunciation, suggested a second mitalong, and I think this is a really good idea. So just totally informally, we're going to have a seconditemisalong. It's not a formal knit along or crochet along, it's just for fun, and I'm going to pop that in the Ravelry group. There will be a thread called seconditemitis, and I would love to see which of your whips are very lonely and missing their second, missing their partner that you need to match up with their seconds. And it'll be fun to see how many of us actually encouraging each other can spur ourselves on to get those hose foes. There we are. I haven't cast on the second mitt, and actually, to be fair, someone did message me and say, have you cast on the second mitten yet? And I realised about 3 days later that they were doing exactly what I'd said and nagging me gently and politely to get it done. So you can hold me to it. I'm going to have the second one cast on by the time I record the next podcast. So by the time we sit down together again, I will have cast on. I'm not promising any more than that, mind you. I might just have cast on and joined in the round. I might not even have joined in the round, but it will be cast on. Now it is time for acquisitions. And I can hear it now. Hang on, Gemma. Didn't you say you were on a yarn diet? Aren't we shopping the stash this year? What's going on? Well, hold your horses. Hang on a minute. It's okay. It's okay. I am definitely trying to shop the stash this year. There are a couple of things that I have to buy. I have had to buy Aran yarn for my intermediates knitting course, which I won't bore you with now. So I've had to buy that because I need it for that particular item. But as far as possible, I'm shopping stash. Before Christmas, there were all these conversations going on, Instagram, Ravelry, podcasts, about this idea of a yarn diet. So literally putting yourself on a yarn diet and refusing to buy any more yarn, shopping from stash, using what you've got. And it sounds a bit miserable, but I was thinking about that word diet. And I thought, I wonder how much yarn I have to use. And I worked out that just in my dining room alone and the lounge, not counting what was upstairs under the bed, in the cupboard, any of that, I had 10 kilos easily of yarn. And I also worked out at that time that I had 10 kilos of weight to lose to get to my goal. Now, This is not vanity, this is for health reasons. It's being overseen by the GP. Don't worry about it. I'm not body conscious, or no, I'm lying to you. Of course I'm body conscious. Of course I'm worried about the size of my backside and how many chins I've got when I'm talking to you on the podcast. So I'm really aware that I don't want to look down too much. And of course I'm a human being, but the point I'm making is I'm not trying to lose those 10 kilos for vanity reasons or for my own insecurities in my body. It's purely for health. And so I thought it'd be fun to see what I managed to do first. So I'm on this self-imposed yarn diet to see if I can lose the yarn first or the weight first. I put on 6 pounds over Christmas. So far the yarn's winning and I've used 1.5 mini skates. Yeah. In the Penguin. So I'm in no danger of being able to treat myself to yarn before I've used it up at this rate. I did say that if I got to my goal weight, I would reward myself with yarn. But yeah, I'm actually going the wrong direction right now. But that doesn't mean that I can't buy things. There are other things that you can buy other than yarn, and I'm going to share some with you now. First up, I have a new fabric. It's also upside down. There we are. This gorgeous fabric you may have seen on my Instagram, I actually purchased from the lovely Katie of Inside Number 23's D-Stash. She was going through her fabrics and getting rid of some bits that she just didn't want, had no use for, making space, being organised for 2019. And when I saw this, I couldn't resist. Absolutely cute. Cats in collars, cats in bows, cats in ruffs by the looks of things, cats turning their back on you because you're just a human and they don't need to talk to you. I don't know what it's going to grow up to be yet. It is really, really lovely quality fabric. I've got quite a bit of it here, quite a large bit. Not entirely sure what it's going to grow up to be. I might make it into something to offer as a prize for the podcast for a KAL later on. I've got a couple of gift ideas in mind, so that's that. Now it's time for podcast confessions. I did a thing. Yeah, I bought another cable. Remember our discussion last week about the fact that interchangeable needles were a big mistake because it gives me full license to take tips off of one project and put them onto another. Well, I got to the point where I'd run out of cables as well to swap these needles through for the number of whips. So rather than actually working on getting a whip finished, when I was on Amazon doing some shopping for other bits, I thought I would treat myself to Knit Pro interchangeable cable. So yeah, there may be some more cast-ons coming your way soon. The other thing I actually purchased today. I nipped into Hobbycraft to get stuffing for Penguin, and it's all the P words, isn't it? Normally it's the other P word, which I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm not going to at the moment. I'll see how long I can make it. Today it's penguins. I popped into Hobbycraft for stuffing and I saw their sewing half price sale, and I was absolutely fascinated by this. What this is special textured plastic to make your own sewing templates with. Now I have pattern paper that I cut out, pinned to my fabric, and I cut from it and obviously cut out my pattern. But if you're not perfect with your scissors, and gradually what happens is you start, or I'm starting to shave bits off of that template and I have to throw it away and get another one. So I was really fascinated by the idea of using this plastic to see, ironically, it could be slightly more sustainable for me than throwing out paper all the time. I mean, maybe sustainable is the wrong word to use, but less wasteful, I suppose, because my paper templates don't last terribly long. And when you're making project bags for a business, as I am, and you're making them over and over and over and over again, it's not the same as having a paper pattern that you have cut out for a skirt that you might make once, and then a few months later think, oh, I quite like another one of those, and you make another one. This is being used constantly, so I thought this would be worth a go, and I will get back to you with my thoughts in a couple of weeks. Okay, so I said that Level Up would not be a regular feature, but I am so pleased to see that some of you have already been joining in the Ravelry group, sharing what you would like to work on this year for levelling up. It's time now for Level Up. Now, I did say, I know I said that it wouldn't be an every week section, but I was so pleased to see that people are already commenting in the thread in the Ravelry group for Level Up, sharing what skills you would like to improve this year. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about that now. So Level Up, for those of you that are new to the podcast, is a new section, and it's basically me trying to give myself time to practice new craft skills that I would like to hone or be better at. And what I've noticed is that since recording the podcast, it was becoming more and more knitting. Even crochet has taken a back seat and has hardly been seen for the last few months. So that's my thing for me. And I just thought I'd throw it out there and see if anyone else wanted to join in and wanted to practice some new skills. So some people have put this in the thread already. We have got sewing, we have got paper crafting, we have got, what was the other one? Cross stitch, and with knitting, there are a couple of skills with knitting as well. Brioche and double knitting. And the reason I bring this up is, wow, so looking forward to seeing how your skills go and how they develop. But also to other viewers of the podcast, if you're not a member of the Ravelry group already, do consider joining. It's lovely over there. They're a lovely bunch of people. And I'm having such fun getting to know you all. But say someone wants to learn or improve their cross-stitch technique and you are a keen cross-stitcher, then it'd be really nice to maybe offer some support there. So just join in the conversation, help each other out, and don't forget to post photos of your progress. That in mind, I thought I'd join in and show you my progress. So last week I shared with you that I was working on hand lettering. I've been given this lovely book by my very good friend, Arthur's mummy, for Christmas, and I was really excited. For me, a bullet journal really needs to be practical first and pretty second, because last year I got it the wrong way round. I went for pretty first, practical second, and never used the thing. So I was trying to do practical first, but then she gave me this and I just couldn't resist. So I thought I might show you what I've been up to. There we are. Here is my opening page for my 2019 bullet journal. 2019 in a banner, which I learnt from the book. Faux calligraphy, again, learnt from the book. She believed she could, so she did. This is another font that, again, I learnt from the book, with some vines here, again, from the book. Basically, everything's from the book. And some kind of words of just motivation here. So I've got, she believed she could, so she did. A year of seizing the day, grit, which is my word of the year, making a minimalism, my new blog series, love, living intentionally, creating, self-belief and hope. So that is the front page. I won't show you any more at the moment, but it's just some of the skills that I have actually managed to level up this past week. Okay, so it is a new year. What do we need? A new KAL. Of course we do. And I am so pleased to start kicking off this year's first knit along, or craft along, I suppose. Let me give you a clue. What colours are these? Gryffindor, of course. These are from Black Yarns. I picked them up in Yarnporium, and I picked them up because to me they are the colour of Gryffindor, and I would like to knit some 2-colour colourwork socks, and the pattern I've chosen is Nellie by Ellie of Skein Knits. So why would these qualify for my knit along? Were I allowed to participate? Because of course I'm not, because I'm the person behind it, so like, you know, can't do it, which is a shame because they're about the only knit alongs I've actually joined in successfully. Okay, because it is the fan club knit along. The idea behind this is that we celebrate all the things that we enjoy outside of the knitting world. I was going to be quite a pedant about it and insist it was of books, to do with books only, but I thought that was a little bit restrictive. And there are so many other things out there. So books, films, anything you can think of in popular culture, you know, maybe painting or art, something like that. Just convince me that it's about being a fan of something and it will work. So this would work because I've used the Gryffindor colours and they are, to me, my Gryffindor socks, so that's fine. You could also use patterns that were specifically for a particular series, either book, film, TV, whatever. For example, Hermione's Everyday Socks, sticking with Harry Potter there. There are a whole range of knits for Outlander that have been designed and released. So maybe you're a fan of Outlander and would like to do that. Game of Thrones inspired, I'm sure. But it doesn't just have to be the patterns, it can be the colourways. So here's another one. I've got Mother of Dragons Fibre by Cat and Sparrow upstairs, which is clearly a Game of Thrones reference. I could spin that bat and that would be my fan club item worked. So there we are. I'm not starting it yet. I'm going to be starting it at the end of this month, at the end of January. So you've got a couple of weeks to get into the chatter thread, start talking about what you want to do, what you might be thinking of doing. We're going to do the same again. Every item you finish is going to be counted for the knit along. It's also going to be quite a long knit along. It will be until, so we're starting at the end of January. It's going to run until the start of September, because in September I've got other plans. Or October. It'll either be the start of September or start of October anyway, so it's quite a significant amount of time for you to be working on these projects. So yeah, hopefully you'll join in, see lots of chatter in the chatter thread, look forward to seeing lots of finished objects, and for me being completely jealous and wanting to cast on all the things, or even cast them on. I don't know what crafting is. Casting on all the things, and you can lead me astray as much as you want. There is another knit along coming. I will tell you more about that in a couple of weeks, because that will be kicking off in March, and I'm really excited about that one too. Little bit of shop update news. My next shop update is going to be Saturday the 26th of January. The shop is open on Etsy. There are things for you to peruse and purchase should you so desire, but the next update, the next time new things are going into the shop, will be the 26th of January. And with that in mind, I thought I'd just show you what I dyed up on Christmas Eve. So these are all on my Aran base, which I am retiring after this next shop update. I've got 10 skeins soaking in the tub upstairs at the moment, ready to be dyed once I've stopped talking to you, lovely lot. And these are the 3 skeins that I dyed up on Christmas Eve. So there are more colours to come. It is being retired. Basically, if you want my Aran yarn, you've only got this next shop update to get it, and then it's gone until the winter. Just turn that light off, just on the off chance that it makes it a bit better. There we are. So we've got this lovely kind of tonal pale blue. It's not as icy as Lavender Ice and Peppermint Ice, which you might recall from previous updates. None of these have got names yet. This is a one of a kind. And this beautiful kind of not quite duck egg, not quite sea green colour. Again, very tonal, with the odd speckle in as well, that you can just see throughout. Quite fun. One of a kind, won't be repeated, only one skein. And I have 2 skeins of this, which I absolutely love. It is very moody, isn't it? Very moody and atmospheric. Blue with greys, kind of almost like stormy skies or a choppy sea in winter, and I absolutely love it. So these are on my MCN Aran base, which you will only be able to get in the next shop update on the 26th of January, and at that point I will be retiring it until the winter. And the final thing I've got to say is I've got some quite exciting news. I am absolutely delighted to be able to announce that yours truly, the Project Bag, will be vending at the Wool and Monty Fibre Festival in June in Sheffield at the Sheffield Arena. You heard it here first. I haven't told anyone else. No one on Instagram, no one on Facebook. I got the confirmation a couple of weeks ago and I'm delighted to have been accepted to vend there. So you'll be hearing more about that in the run up to it. Just thought I'd let you know. Okay, so it's time for me to go now. It's been absolutely lovely chatting with you. Do hop in the Ravelry group, won't you? Let me know what you're up to, what you're working on, share pictures of whips, things like that. Have you got any ideas straight away for the fan club knit along? Spoiler, I'm doing the Sweater That Lived by Verity of Truly Hooked. That is definitely happening this year. There you go, nailing my colours to the mast again. I said I wouldn't do that. I've got no follow through. I just can't commit. Oh, place your bets, right? So do hop in there and let me know. The prizes for the previous knit along have almost all been sent out. Karen, you need to give me your address and then I can send you your prize. Whatever you're up to, have a great weekend and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.